I'm here to weigh in, legal spokesperson for Donald Trump, Alina Habba. Alina, I appreciate you coming on with us tonight. What do we know that has come out of this meeting with Trump's attorneys and Jack Smith?
Well, I can't really speak to certain details, but I can tell you much of nothing. The reality is what we've learned today was more effective from the press that got leaks from the DOJ than from the attorneys that were actually sitting with the DOJ. And that, folks, is literally all that America has become. And it's a terrible thing. When I, who was not in the meeting, am hearing leaks while the attorneys that are in meetings are talking to the DOJ, that's concerning to me. And that to me tells me that this is, again, a publicity stunt. And that's what America should realize. When the DOJ has a PR person putting statements out on Twitter about the status of a private grand jury investigation that should be confidential and breaking privilege, we are in a state of crisis, not because Donald Trump stood up and said, be peaceful and do something peacefully, but because our justice system is so corrupt from within and from the top that they can't see straight because they're so scared that Donald Trump might come in and clean house. They have a PR person. Imagine. I mean, in what planet does the DOJ need somebody tweeting and putting out statements about the status of an indictment? It's
before it comes out.
Absolutely anti-American.
100%. But does this throw any jeopardy or any fog on the actual case? Like, is this grounds for type of dismissal when you can't keep basic grand jury stuff secret?
I think so. I think that we've seen prosecutorial misconduct across the board on many of these cases because they get so excited. They're like children getting excited to try and take the king down, and it doesn't work. So then they get so giddy that when the press starts nipping at them, they want to give them a little something. But that's not the way the justice system works. That's not the way attorneys work. I'm a spokesperson now. I still can't give information that should not be given by my ethics. Yet these people can tell you the status of a private grand jury investigation on Twitter. Absolutely. It's completely disgusting. It's inappropriate.
Alina, that's because you maintain this little lost thing in most of media today called ethics and, like integrity. I don't know. Weird.
Yes, integrity and decency.
Yeah, exactly.
God forbid we have some of that in this country.
But former President Trump today, obviously tweeting on social or typing on social, saying, yeah, exactly. His attorneys had a productive meeting with the DOJ, adding, I did nothing wrong, and the indictment of me would only further destroy the country. No indication of notice was given during the meeting. Do not trust the fake news on anything. When I'm hearing that, but at the same time, we're hearing an indictment's coming from, like you said, some of these leaky sources on the prosecution side. What the heck is going on?
Well, I think that the reality is America needs to remember that there are people on the Trump team, the people that actually know, people that are privy to the information, that aren't going to show all of our cards, are not going to break our ethical obligations. I think that regardless, the hype coming out of a leaky DOJ is what we do need to know, which is that they're more interested, not in facts, not in actual indictments for criminals that are coming into this country through open borders and hurting our children and drugging our people. Not that. They're more interested in political garbage, like you mentioned in your monologue, Hillary Clinton and the Russia hoax. Look at the Mueller investigation that showed up and came out with nothing. All these things, that's what it's become. Now, there is a place for that, and that's politics, but there is no place for that in law. And that's what we're seeing.
Yeah, it's like the one thing that's supposed to be non-political. Justice is blind, the woman with the blindfold.
Right.
I don't even have an undergrad and I can figure this out. But this is another thing, too. A recent poll shows Trump beating Biden in a hypothetical, or not a very likely 2024 matchup. But the big thing is he is gaining 18 points in some polls in independence.
That's right.
How much of this indictment and this grand jury potential indictment is involved with that?
I think it speaks for itself, right? So the American public is not stupid. And they're doing a lot of the campaigning for how destructive our country is for the president. And when I say for the president, I mean President Trump. That's the president that I recognize. But when you're saying the American people, the independents, the people that were waiting for somebody good to come in and try and give us somebody else, when they're saying, look, forget that. I see what you people are doing. And it's not okay because you could do it to my uncle, my cousin, my brother, my sister, my mother, and I'm scared.
Right.
And we don't have the wherewithal like Donald Trump. So if they're going to do it to them, but they're going to protect their own, I'm going Trump because Trump can't be bought. Trump is not a politician. He's a businessman, and he's an American patriot. And I think the American people are seeing that. You know, it's a wake-up call, and they're helping the American people wake up.
Sure. You know, Alina, I know you're down there with him right now, and you probably have a lot to discuss. But, you know, like, look, I consider myself a pretty tough guy. This would have crushed me mentally and physically, like, years ago. How is he doing personally?
This has been his life, Carl, honestly, for the better of a decade. This has been his family's lives, his kids, you know, his wife, all of them, and they're resilient and strong. And I really can't tell the American public more that this is another day for him. He is a fighter. He is fighting for everybody. And the more they try and hurt him, frankly, the more he believes in this country getting back and trying to get it back. I really think that's his motivation. And this has been a motivational factor, frankly, for everybody on the team to see this corruption and try and get back and fight it and clean it up, because this is in America and he loves this country.
We're a lot more like 2016 now going into this next election. He fights better when he's up against the ropes. I'm on the Trump train, sword and shield. Alina Habba, we appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Carl.
All right.